Keep these windows open. All right, welcome everybody to Wall Street Reporter's next Super Stock live stream, May 6th. We have back with us Liquid Avatar, LQID on the CSE, TRWRF over the counter, David Lukacs, CEO. David, welcome back.
Thanks, Jack. Great to be here as always.
David, I see that you're getting more of the collectibles. The toys are piling up. We're going to be talking about how that fits in. Actually, it fits into one of the themes that you have with the NFTs. So you're actually uniquely qualified to be in the NFT space, and we'll get into all that stuff. So for anybody that's just joining, our goal at the next Superstock live stream is to bring you those stocks which have that 10x to 100x upside potential. So these are companies going after three things. One, multi-billion-dollar market opportunities. Two, they're at a key inflection point right now in their development phase. So they're ready for massive revenue growth. And three, there's multiple catalysts in place which can drive that stock price appreciation. And the last 18 months, we've seen already 7 of those companies that we've had in this universe have increased anywhere from 10x, 20x, even a 50x, and way too many to list, which have been doubles, triples, 5x or whatever. And even Liquid Avatar actually started off. I think we're up 4x since the introduction until the market correction, which has been going on. So we really need to find out today. We're going to find out if Liquid Avatar is going to bounce back on that road to greatness, to being that 10 bagger that everybody in our audience is looking for. So, David, I think what we should do is, I was just actually thinking that really, Liquid Avatar is, you have a couple of very interesting growth initiatives you're doing, but there is a really kind of like an underlying theme with everything, from the NFTs to the digital identity and everything. But really Liquid, essentially this is a company that you're at the intersection of the biggest themes in the market right now. These are like mega trend waves, so ranging from the NFTs, digital identity, all that stuff. So I think we should kind of unpack it, give people an update on everything you're doing. The NFT, I think we got a lot of people who are very excited about everything you're doing there. But which part should we start off with? Should we start off with NFTs, the prepaid card, or what do you want to do? You want to maybe start with the latest thing, and then we'll go back.
Why don't we start with NFTs, because it's easy. Okay. So, but let me frame it for everyone. So Liquid Avatar is in the business of empowering users to manage, control, and benefit from their digital identity. And digital identity is the next wave of being able to prove that you are you online. I know it sounds relatively simple, but it's a very complex problem that has been tackled for the last 20 years and finally exists. And we'll get back to it, but governments and everyone are talking about these health passports and digital credentials, and we're right at that intersection, as you say. And our market is 100% of the online market. But if you look at our Liquid Avatar mobile app, which is sort of the intersection point of all our services, way we look at things is that you can represent yourself in different facets of your personality by these avatars. And again, we'll go into more detail. And those avatars started their journey 2.5, almost 3 years ago as NFTs. So we've been around this market for 3 years. So, given the toys in the background and some of the businesses we've been in, a lot of the people in the industry came to us and said, hey, you guys know about avatars, you know about NFTs. Can you help me? I want to do an NFT. And we said, well, there's probably a great market opportunity here, a business opportunity. So with our partners, we created Oasis Digital Studios. And Oasis Digital Studios is all about storytelling, experiences, and collectability in the NFT market. We work with major brands to help them tell their stories, create experiences, and create collectability. Now, we don't talk about value, because if you're a collector, you know that you're looking at the opportunities of collectability and what that will mean. So we're not talking about NFTs as a value proposition. We're talking about them as a collectible. So we're doing unique programs with the John Lennon Lost Weekend, with Jeezy, with the Outer Spaceman, now with Jim Steranko, with Tom DeFalco, who again was the editor-in-chief at Marvel. We're doing some really cool projects. all those projects have different touch points for us. They're not only NFTs, but a lot of those will come back to our system as avatars that people can use to represent different facets of the personality. But in this cycle where avatars are amazingly popular and gaining traction and a way for people to get their toes into sort of the crypto market, we're there. We're there. And we're there now.
It's going to be bigger than the crypto market, because I think when it comes to the NFTs, it's really, at least you get something, and it actually is
exactly.
It is kind of a store. I mean, well, it is a store of value, because we've seen some of these things
go just loony. Yeah, they've gone crazy. I mean, people are buying avatars for $400,000. I mean, it's and things are going off for 60 million, millions of dollars. And Eminem, it's really amazing when you look at and we understand this because I've done work in entertainment and music and film and all that type of stuff. And so you've got to understand rights management. And when you think about, Eminem did a super great NFT drop last week or the week before, but didn't do any of his music because he doesn't actually own the rights to his music. So he had to do something else that he doesn't. Artists don't always own the rights to their music. The publishers might own it. The label might own it. Most musicians don't own their music. And so you've got to know where the landmines are, and you've got to work with your partners to know where the landmines are. So we've got estates coming to us. And, one of our programs involves, some pictures that have been approved, and we're not ready to release them yet, of people, like Jimi Hendrix. So we've got some really flipping cool things on the go. We've got great animation with our partners, different things that should appeal to the collectible market.
Okay. And how will you monetize this? How will you what's going to be the business model like with when you do these NFTs? Like, what's going to be the
simple? And this is why
before, but let's just, recap.
It's simple. And Jack, this is why it's working, because everything we do in our whole business is transparent. So our model is very simple. We work with our partners who are the talent, the artists and the talent. When we sell an NFT, the production costs come off the top, and then we split the balance 70-30 in favor of the artist. So Oasis Digital Studios gets 30%. So if something sells for $1, we get 30 cents on the dollar. So it's a pretty lucrative market, and all our major costs have been covered prior to that. So at the end of the day, it's a really good opportunity for us to generate revenue at this early stage of our company without putting pressure on what we would call our core business, right? It's another part of our business that's going to help us gain revenue, traction, value and still allow us to build our core elements without that immediate pressure to perform at a revenue stage. Because if you look at major companies like Google and Facebook and even Apple, or you look at Amazon, all of them took time for them to gain hockey stick revenue growth. And we've entered a brand new market of digital identity, which, I was on a call with one of our broker friends, and he said, I finally get this. After 16 months of explaining it to me, I see all these news reports, see everything going on, and now I understand digital identity and why we'll have a health passport and why my driver's license and the government of Ontario put out this big white paper last week. I understand it all. And I said, that is amazing, and I'm so proud of you, but we're already 16 months ahead of that, which you're understanding now. So our job is to be 16 months ahead, and we see digital identity as one of the largest growth opportunities that the world has ever seen. And that's a personal opinion, because I was there when e-commerce started, and I said, look, we're going to
talk about that. I think that's one of the things that I find interesting about this story is that essentially, you've been very, really a pioneer in a lot of mega trends very early on, before people really understood what it was. People take e-commerce for granted now, but
out of the thin air, e-commerce showed up.
Yeah, but it was, when it started, in the the 90s, when you actually were one of the pioneers in it with the actual transactions online. It was people didn't believe anybody would ever use a credit card to buy something online. I did not. I'll admit, I was one of those people who did not believe that people would really do transactions online. I didn't believe it. And then I saw it happen. Okay, it makes sense. But no, I think nobody believed it. 99% of people, and so I think the same thing is happening with. Listen, maybe I'm a late adopter to crypto, the crypto thing. I've been like, I don't know if it works, but it apparently works, right? I mean, you see the valuations, the NFT thing. So you've really been very, very early in these trends, and you were talking about this stuff. The NFT thing, we were talking about this like in November. You were talking about this stuff right before you joined our platform, and nobody knew and nobody was talking about NFT. The market, NFTs, or nobody was talking about NFTs on the market up until like a month ago, 2 months ago.
Our job is to look forward, right? It's sort of like we've got to keep our eyes facing forward, but our feet planted firmly on the ground, right? That's sort of the mantra of what we're doing. A part of what we do at our firm is we've got to focus on today, but have a vision for tomorrow. And we're working with great partners that have that vision. And and again, there's amazing people in this industry. But while others are talking and trying to figure it out, we're actually doing. We, as our chief business development officer says, we need to lead from the front. So I'll comment on something that happened yesterday. One of our partners, and we've mentioned, and it's been in a press release, so all the people online can look this up. A company called Indicio out of the U.S., Indicio.tech. And Heather Dahl, the CEO, along with SITA and SITA, announced yesterday that they've created a health pass for the island of Aruba. And but so why is that impactful? Well, SITA, if anybody looks up SITA, and it's SITA.aero, SITA is the organization that handles all the airlines, 90% of destinations, most of the airports around the world. They're the people who are the association that their customers are the airlines. So all the people who move, millions and billions of people a year. And so this healthcare pass in Aruba is supported by SITA and the government of Aruba and Indicio. And that is the same construct of our wallet and our credentials. So it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that our platform will be compatible with these up and coming credentials. So we're way ahead of the curve. We're in market where others are talking about it. I mean, the province of Ontario, Digital Ontario white paper, phenomenal white paper. Hats off and applause to the government of Ontario. In the midst of a pandemic, launching a digital first strategy, unbelievable. For infrastructure and business and healthcare, but they don't have a credential yet. We already have the ability to do credentials. Last week, we announced a partnership with Vector Labs to create healthcare credentials. We're talking to major partners about verification systems. We are at the forefront of this industry. And while people may, as you say, Jack, may not believe today, I will tell you today, and you can put this in your book, that 2 to 3 years from now, no one will be using a username and password. It's got to be the most archaic technology out there that can be easily hacked. So why not use your face? And why not use a fingerprint? Why not use a biometric to control that and then allow you to control the data in behind it? What I will comment about the Ontario document as well is it was eerily familiar because they used this. Our trademark statement is share what you want, when you want, and with whom you want. And if anybody reads that document, they're going to see something very similar in there. So we were part of the consultation process, and we've been very excited to work with Ontario and other governments to help hopefully shape some of what's coming down the pike.
Okay. Oh, so let's get to some audience questions.
Sure.
In terms of getting an update on the app. So how is the adoption? Because you launched this, was it about a month ago, roughly?
February 18th, we launched it. So again, let me set the stage. So February 18th was the first stage of our app. We said it's going to come out in 4 stages. And during that 4 stages, we were going to basically test the waters with the app, get feedback, change things. And if anybody's followed our app in the Google, on Google Play or in the Apple App Store, they're going to see some major changes to the app along the way, some amazing marketing. And we've just started ramping up our marketing. But I'll tell you, there's well over 10,000 people who've already downloaded the app. Now, that doesn't seem like a big number, and I know that, but we haven't really focused on the marketing. We focused on the experience, and we're continuing to improve that experience because, again, we're building a utility that we want people to use every day. So we need that feedback. We need that early stage, and you can't test it in the App Store without being live. So our ramp up period, we're already out in universities and colleges in the US piloting the program. So our ramp up period really starts near the end of Q2 and beyond the rest of the year. And our goal, and again, this is not any guidance and again, as we would always say, everyone has to do their due diligence, but our goal is to have over 2 million people on this app by the end of 2022. Now, saying that's our goal, our internal goal, again, not guidance. But if we start working with governments, those numbers will pale in comparison. I mean, we're setting this up to be a big deal, not a small deal.
Okay, and I think, okay, so here's the thing that I find interesting is, okay, so when we talk about we haven't talked about this, we've been talking about NFTs the last couple of times, but so the model for the app, essentially, can you explain again the revenue model and essentially, sure. Because the valuation of the company, of the stock, essentially is going to be driven by the number of users you get. I mean, sure. Generally, that's the way it's going to translate. So, 2 million. So, in a nutshell, how much is 2 million users worth if you get 2 million?
So I'm going to explain the revenue model. I'm going to come right back to the enterprise value question. So like many companies, and we have the benefit of starting in this digital identity age. Others have to adopt it. So companies like Google have stopped third-party cookies. Facebook has changed their privacy policies. They've all had to adapt for this. We're we're building for this today. But all the major companies we talk about, give their services away for free and get revenue from advertising and other services. What's different about us is we do give our services away for free, and we are positioning ourselves as a utility. But all our users are verified. So one user, one account. Real users in our system, no fakes, no bots, no hacks. So we've got over 400 major firms that are already on our system that want us to connect passively. We never sell or rent data, our users with their offers. So there's a huge opportunity there. And we're talking major brands at Cab and Cash. So that's number one. When we connect those people, or they connect voluntarily and make a transaction, we get a piece of the action. Number two, we talked about this. We said we'd do it. There's our Visa card. That is the Cabin. That is a real Visa card with the Cabin brand on it. So we're proud to have announced last week that we've launched our card. I mean, real card, mag stripe, CCV, everything's on there. It's a real card. So we make money off the Visa card for our users because, again, they're verified. They can qualify for a card. Now, a verified user has a value somewhere around $125 to $200, maybe $300. In industry comparables. A card holding customer has a value of up to $1,000 because it's a pure fintech banking app or mobile card program. So, Jack, we think, again, no guidance, we think an average user can be worth somewhere between $300 and $500 US on a lifetime value. Take the number I said earlier, multiply by this number, the number becomes quite large. And
yeah, so it's basically so that's kind of the path to this being $1 billion valuation. If you get those 2 million people, the company will be worth, realistically, $1 billion based on the comps. And right now, what's the market cap? Oh my God, the market cap today is, what is it, 20 million? I don't even know. It's like,
it's 25 million. Yeah,
you got there's potentially a 50x. From here, you got, as long as you execute and everything falls into place, 2 million people. If 2 million people, even if you execute in a half-assed way, if you get 2 million users, it's worth the same amount of money. I mean, it doesn't matter.
But again, remember, Jack, that our business is applicable to 100% of the online market. Everyone who has a digital identity is going to have to hold that digital identity in a wallet, not necessarily our wallet. Okay. So it's not necessarily our wallet, but we're working on a utility that will allow other wallets to be found inside our application. So we'll be able to work with everyone and hopefully every wallet.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. So we got people asking, when are they going to get their Cabin card? We got people applying for the Cabin card here. Right?
They're on their waiting list. We've got our cards internally. We're waiting for the final Visa test to be approved. Visa does a lot of testing. We got our cards first. So we're expecting, within the next 30, 45 days that we'll be rolling out the cards.
Okay. Do you have any revenue projections? I know you've kind of stayed away from making.
No, we don't want to give guide. I apologize, but
Yeah.
because this is a new business and we have internally, we need to see that. But again, if everyone wants to focus on the revenues, I think you're looking in the wrong location initially. And if you look at Google or Facebook or Amazon or any of those, they built their customer base first. Our revenues will come from our NFT programs, our card programs, and everything else. But we have to be laser focused on building an amazing product and onboarding large groups of users. What happens tomorrow, Jack, if all of a sudden government says you've got to have a wallet and a credential? We have to have the ability to ramp up, and we do have it because we've moved from the AWS cloud, which was a phenomenal product. We're now partnered with IBM on the IBM cloud, so we have the resources and capability to move up and the support from IBM. But imagine that all of a sudden, a government opens up something and says, "Hey, can you help us?" We're not talking about 1 million or 2 million people anymore. We're talking 20 million, 30 million, 40 million, 100 million people. If an airline comes on board, we're prepping for that catalyst. As you said, you're looking for catalyst, you're looking for inflection points, and you're looking for market. We think we have all three of those key indicators.
No. I think what makes the Liquid story, unique is that these are the numbers. Your catalyst. They're huge. They're huge. All of them are huge numbers. If you're talking about numbers of users to get onto this onto the digital identity platform, between the stuff with the governments, the health, these digital health passes. So these are things which have that huge scale.
Yeah.
Which makes so in other words, all you need to do essentially is, I think from the investor's perspective, and I talked about this before, is for the stock to really move, and I'm only looking at the stock. I'm sorry, David.
Right.
I'm only looking at the stock. I'm not really that interested in the business. Just look at the stock.
Well, I think one goes hand in hand, but I'll leave it to you.
You need the business to move the stock. But
exactly.
Basically, I think what's going to happen is, if you can show some traction that you're starting to get user signups, by the way, the 10,000 is actually a pretty decent number in the first few months. Because because these things, they don't go 10,000, 11,000. They go 10,000, 50,000. They can grow, exponentially. It's not.
Jack, I just want to tell you here.
And once you show that, then the market, the valuation will be completely different.
Well, and the reason please don't take that as that we're disappointed that there's 10,000 people we that have downloaded the app and it's. No,
I'm not disappointed. I think
no. Don't look at that. We think it's a low number, but
yeah, we've
built in the past a social media platform that had 200 million people on it. So we're used to that. In one of my previous companies, I was invited in to be one of the bidders on MySpace when it was being sold because we had such a large profile. So we understand how to get to the law of large numbers. We've seen it, we've done it. But with this, digital identity is a new ball of wax because it involves blockchain technology. It involves, regulation and support. And we're at the forefront with the associations we belong to, with the partners we're involved with. We've done this right. So we've set the stage for that catalyst, that exponential growth.
Yeah, no, okay. So what was the social media thing that you had with 2 million users?
Well, it was a language translation platform. So we'll just it was good. That's why we worked with Marvel and Disney and all those types of programs.
But you were able to get 200 million users.
Yeah.
How long did it take to do that?
2 years.
2 years. Okay, so.
We actually grew faster than Facebook because we actually connected to all the social media platforms in Asia. So we've done this before. We've our team, we look at three things. We look at reach. So the reach for a company is 100% of the market. That's a potential reach. We've got a very unique business model. We're building utility that is digital identity at its core, with bells and whistles and peanut butter and all that kind of stuff around it to help gamify and create catalysts. And it's free to consumers and powered by advertisers. And then the last piece, which certainly is not the least, is that we've got a phenomenal team. If everyone looks at our team, we've got a core team, and we're growing around the world, but we've got a core team of exceptional people that know what they're doing. and that are in the right places. I mean, every time we come back to see you, we've got a new development because the market is driving this. We're putting our stake in the ground, locking and loading it in that location, and then moving from there.
Yeah. Okay. So let's wrap up. We're running. We got time for. I'm going to do 3 questions real quick. Actually, 3 very good questions.
No, but not the Master Yoda question. There we go. I like your Master Yoda. There you go.
Any consideration to implement a messenger service?
Oh boy.
Liquid Avatar would automatically spread virally like a bushfire, like a wild. I guess it means a wildfire, but it's a German.
Yeah. But okay, so let me try and give this is why I said we're 16 months ahead. Once you have your agent or your wallet, for lack of anything better, you have what's called a digital identifier. You have a unique digital identifier that belongs to you. That digital identifier over time can be used to send messages. So you can send peer-to-peer messaging over time. We're not ready for it yet, but that's sort of one of our roadmap items, that once you have a digital identifier, you can communicate with anyone else that has a digital identifier, encrypted peer-to-peer. So I want to say this with great respect. Forget about WhatsApp, forget about Signal, forget about Messenger. You will be able to encrypted high-end encryption, peer-to-peer communication, but that's a roadmap item, not an item for today.
Okay, I mean that would be a game changer.
It's already in theory it's built into the system. There's still a lot of work to be done, but yeah, we know. That's why I said we're 16 months ahead.
Okay. So we got 2 questions. So we're gonna put together 2 questions in one.
Sure.
How many shares outstanding? How many shares are owned by insiders?
So a number of shares currently outstanding on a basic non-diluted is about 103 million. Fully diluted with all our warrants and everything, and broker warrants is somewhere around 135 to 145 million. Pardon me, I don't have exact that number, but it's around. Let's say it's outside 145-ish. Insiders today of the 103 million. Insiders own in excess of 30 million shares, and the primary shares are escrowed. So I will say this with great respect. I had warrants that came due. I bought my warrants, and they went right back into the escrow. 75% went into the escrow provision. So we're buying our warrants and putting them into escrow. So we're paying cash and tucking it away.
Okay, so I'm going to wrap 2 more questions into one again. So this Samuel's asking, growth plan for next 2 years, 3 years, excuse me. Mm-hmm. Growth plan for next 3 years, and also what's the projected impact of NFTs in terms of revenues?
So our NFTs, as everyone knows, we start to launch our NFT program in the next week. So there's no ifs, ands, or buts. We put a line in the sand as we always do, and we're going to do everything we can to meet that expectation. Our programs have a huge upside potential, a revenue value for the company. The available product over time in the first 2 months will be several $1 million. So that's an opportunity. I can't say that we'd sell out completely, but there's millions of dollars of NFTs that will be available. And our growth plan for the next 3 years is laser focused on working with our partners. And again, we're seeing new opportunities every day because our partners are opening up new places, new opportunities, and the governments are opening up new opportunities. But it's all about user growth, getting users onboarded, creating utility that someone uses every day. So it is a functional utility with a lot of great services around it. So we've already said that, look at our internal goal, again, no guidance, is a couple million people, but we could be below that or way beyond that. We don't know yet, but we believe we have the product that can do that.
Okay, we'll do one last question. That's it. Last question. Cash on hand. How much cash on hand burn rate?
Well, again, you have to look at our financial statements where we can't really give guidance on that. I apologize, but I will tell you that we have had a lot of people come and offer us dollars. Research Capital has been very good to us. And, we spoke at the H.C. Wainwright conference a week ago. There's been a lot of engagement, a lot of opportunities, but right now we're standing pat with the cash we have on hand.
Okay, so you're not raising any capital right now.
Not today, not at all.
Okay, not today. Maybe.
Well, not today. I mean, there are lots.
Every company is always, if
you have to be receptive to those. Otherwise, people don't necessarily offer a second or third time. But we're working diligently. I'm not really interested at this level in raising capital. We have We have strategic partners that are looking to come on board, and strategic usually means that there's some kind of investment. But again, we're really focused on getting our product to market, building value, because we're primary shareholders. Like we want to see this grow. We'd like as you say, 5, 10, 20, 50 bagger.
Yeah,
That's
I think I mean, realistically, I mean, I'm assuming if the stock, I mean, in terms of, I don't think you're going to be doing any raise until the stock gets, let's say, back above, let's call it 40 cents or so. I don't think that's you know.
Well, got to remember too that we have we have a lot of warrants. That non-dilutive portion is a lot of warrants. I mean, those are investors that already exist. So there's, if you take the number that it gave you from basic to fully diluted, there's a lot of warrants and options out there. There's a lot of capital on hand there.
Okay. So we got a suggestion: wait for the price to get back to 50 cents to $1. So at $1, I agree. At $1 is
I look at it. There's an old saying from your mouth to God's ear. Like at the end of the day, right?
Exactly.
We love for the stock to be there. And we count on support from our stakeholders to help us get there.
Fantastic. Okay, David, thank you. We'll look forward to getting the next exciting update on NFTs, digital identity, fintech, all the good stuff next time you're on, hopefully in the next couple of weeks.
Can I just give a plug? Everyone
Yes.
go to oasisdigitalstudios.com, watch what we're doing, because that's our NFT site. And please visit liquidavatar.com or liquidavatartechnologies.com, and you'll get updates. Sign up for our list. Oh, and by the way, on May 18th, we have our digital credentials and wallets event. Sign up for that as well. I think it'll be very informative. Got some great speakers.
Okay, Dave, I knew you were going to give a plug. I would have run it on the banner next time.
There you go. No problem. Come,
OasisDigitalStudios.com. All right.
Super.
David, thank you very much.
Thanks, Jack.